What's up, everybody? OGP back with you. Today from a cemetery. I'm visiting the grave, the tomb of legendary guitarist Randy Rhoads from Ozzy Osbourne's early days as a solo artist after leaving Black Sabbath. And Diary of a Madman is one of my favorite all-time albums. And he did so much great work with Ozzy, and then Quiet Riot before that. Legendary guitarist who is buried in a cemetery not too far from where I live in San Bernardino, California. Randy is entombed here at the Mountain View Cemetery, and there's the main street there, and here is his tomb. There it is, Randy Rhoads. A life dedicated to music. Randy Rhoads, 1956 to 1982. An inspiration for all young people. And that he was. So somebody has left the top of a guitar in there where you would hook the strings to the top right there, and a bunch of coins, and there's not too much else in here right now. My guess is they clean it out from time to time to take some of the things that people may have left for personal reasons that may, I don't know that I want to say in poor taste, but some things like liquor bottles and stuff like that, that you may not want to just leave here forever. But they do have nice flower arrangement there, and some flowers going on out here. And I can confirm those are not petunias. But here we are, a nice memorial. I've been to Jimi Hendrix grave up in Washington, and it was pretty nice as well. But Randy Rhoads, man, thank you for so much amazing music. I'm telling you, I do think if I had to pick Ozzy solo or Ozzy with Black Sabbath, I think I would choose Ozzy's solo music better. I do like it a little bit better. I mean, Black Sabbath stuff is great, but man, Ozzy has just gone on and on and on. And Randy Rhoads, such a huge part of that in the early days. The reason I thought I would come visit Randy Rhoads' grave today is because of the recent induction of Ozzy Osbourne into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist. And Ozzy, during his speech, credited Randy Rhoads, saying that he probably wouldn't be there if it weren't for Randy Rhoads. So I thought, you know what? I've been meaning to come by, pay my respects, and visit his grave, and this is no better time. And the story behind Randy Rhoads' death is kind of an interesting one, and it tells you he lived like a rock star. He died like a rock star. Ozzy and Randy and a few others were on tour, and Ozzy was asleep in his tour bus. They had stopped at a airport in Florida. I guess they needed like repairs to an air conditioner, and a few people decided to go up in an airplane and like fly around for a bit. Well, Randy Rhoads, after they came back, Randy Rhoads went up on the second trip, and they wanted to buzz the tour bus. Like they thought it'd be fun to fly by and maybe like wake up Ozzy or something while he was sleeping in the tour bus. Well, they passed over twice, and then the third pass by, the wing of the airplane clipped the top of the tour bus that Ozzy was asleep inside of, causing the airplane to crash, and the three people, including Randy Rhoads, that were on board, perished in a nasty, fiery plane crash. So, he was having a good time, and hopefully he went quick. You would imagine it was probably pretty quick, flying an airplane and crashing, but hopefully they did. You know, nobody on that plane suffered very long. But man, what a tragic and sad way to go. Just out having a little fun. Just tells you how precious life is. Doesn't matter how successful you are, how much money you have, life can be taken away from us at any given time. So we have 2 other places we're going to go see today, and they're all kind of related to tragedies. And so I thought, I have my videos that I do sometimes live streams late at night where I call Wake the Dead. So I thought maybe we'll start a new series. Anytime I visit cemeteries, graves, or tragic places, we'll call it Walking with the Dead. Not The Walking Dead. Don't get me wrong. Don't want to, copyright infringements there or anything. But Walking with the Dead. We're going to take a trip down memory lane with the folks that we have lost. So here we go. Randy Rhoads. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for the music. We're going to head on out to 2 other very interesting places right here in San Bernardino, California. Now here we are at stop number 2 of the day. This is a very infamous location. You can see a house back there, a bunch of dirt right here, train tracks right here. And if we're lucky today, while we're here, we'll get to see a train go by. So we can see how big and how close the trains are to this house right here. The reason we're here is because on a fateful day in 1989, a train was coming down this hill, this track right here, coming down from the Victorville, up from Barstow and Victorville down into San Bernardino, which is where I am, still in San Bernardino. The long hill down, it's a very steep grade for trains, for cars even. And the speed limit here for the trains is 30 miles an hour. This train that day was overloaded. The brakes couldn't handle it. I think it was somebody did bad math or something. The train was too heavy. The brakes couldn't handle it. And on the way down, the brakes failed. And when a train is supposed to be going by here at 30 miles an hour, it came by here at 110 miles an hour. And there is a major curve right here. When the train hit the curve, it couldn't stay on the tracks. And cars began to derail all the way down here and demolished. I think there were 69 cars. I'm not sure how many. I think the entire thing derailed. But demolishing 7 houses along the way and killing a bunch of people. This area was rezoned, so they cannot build more homes here. They never will. As long as the tracks are there. But I find it interesting that the cutouts for these folks' driveways, the ones that lived here, their cutouts are still here. This would have been somebody's driveway, and their house would have been right here. Same right there. One more down that way. So it would have been 1, 2, 3 right here, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just a sad event, a preventable event, and people's lives were uprooted. But I do still find it interesting that anybody would have bought a house this close to train tracks. And I don't know which came first, the houses or the train tracks. I would guess the train tracks were here first, but I don't know. But it's just so close. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Sometimes when I'm at home, just knowing that cars drive down my street, it makes me a little uncomfortable knowing somebody could drive down the street, lose control, and crash into my house. Things like that happen. And that's a car. That's not millions or thousands of tons or whatever, however heavy these trains are, coming crashing down. I just couldn't even imagine. But while the trains go by, it's got to be, being this close, it's got to be crazy with the vibrations inside your house. It's got to wake you up. You know, how do you live that close to train tracks? It's like the Blues Brothers scene when Elwood's apartment, when the trains would go by there in Chicago, it just would shake the whole building. I would imagine that's what it's got to be like to live in one of these houses. While I'm here, might as well walk down this way a bit, where it looks like we can get up to a better vantage point and see the curve of the railroad and where the accident may have started from. There we go now, just about to the top of the, well, I thought I was at the top of the hill. We've got the road here. Just over there is Interstate 210, and this stretch of road on the 210 freeway is where, in the first Hangover movie, when they met up on the freeway with the tuxedo guy and they were getting the tuxedos passed to their car, they shot that on this stretch of 210 freeway right there. Look at that. So high up, so much weight on these tracks with these tiny little homes down below. I don't think I could live there. I don't think I would be comfortable sleeping there. And you can see the tracks travel off in the distance. Up that way is the Cajon Pass. If you're driving to Vegas on Interstate 15 out of Southern California, that is the way. Interstate 15 travels right up there. So do these train tracks. And as I make my way back to my car, I can't help but wonder why there's no memorial. People died that day. They're never going to build houses here again. I think there should be a memorial. I understand it was 1989. A lot of people don't remember, or younger folks may have never even heard about this incident, but people died. Homes, lives were ruined. I think there should be a memorial. A lot of lives turned upside down that day. The train crash took place in 1989. Now we're at the site of an accident that took place in 1954, 70 years ago, next month in November. This video is coming out in October. Next month will be the 70th anniversary of an accident that took place right here. And that accident I'm talking about is Sammy Davis Jr. returning from Las Vegas to Los Angeles on Route 66. Because in 1954, Interstate 15 was not here. Route 66 was the way to go if you were going from LA to Vegas. So as the story goes, Sammy Davis Jr. was driving with his assistant, Charlie Head, back from Las Vegas out to LA for a recording session. And about 7 o'clock in the morning, they were coming down here, getting at the bottom of the Cajon Pass in San Bernardino. And there's an intersection right here. Sammy was driving. He was 28 years old at the time, but apparently was a very inexperienced driver. And as he was coming down the hill, a couple ladies missed this turn right here at Kendall Road, Kendall Avenue, whatever it is, it's Kendall. They missed their turn. They came by here and decided they were going to turn around so they could get back over to this road where those cars just went. They missed their turn at the fork in the road right here, where my car right now is parked in the middle in the fork, but off in the dirt in a safe spot. But they were coming down the hill heading back toward LA on Route 66. Sammy Davis could not stop in time as the ladies were making a U-turn, an illegal U-turn in the middle of the street, and he plowed right into him. Critical injuries were sustained by Sammy Davis and Charlie Head, but they both survived. Sammy lost his eye. That is where, if you see Sammy Davis Jr. In most of the movies and things that we know him from, you clearly see he has a glass eye. That was a result of the accident that took place right here 70 years ago when Sammy Davis was 28 years old. So Sammy Davis would almost be 100 years old. He'd be 98 years old now. The ladies survived. Sammy Davis Jr., Charlie Head survived. Nobody died here that day. But it was a life-changing moment for Sammy Davis Jr. And luckily, some actors and friends came to his aid to help get him the treatment he needed. Because after the accident, they took him to the hospital and left him sitting there bleeding with his eye gone because he was black. My, how times have changed in the last 70 years. Hopefully nothing like that happens these days. We live in a twisted world, so maybe they do, but I hope nobody ever has to experience any form of racism like that. It's just terrible. But here it is, the site, Sammy Davis Jr.'s fateful accident that took his eye. There's a truck turning left right there where those two women wanted to turn but missed their turn. And somewhere between there and here, they decided to turn around, and this is where Sammy Davis Jr. hit them. That's going to do it for this episode of Walking with the Dead. Again, nobody died right here, but they've all passed away since then. And it was an interesting, life-altering event in Sammy Davis Jr.'s life. Somebody who I appreciate and I've loved and enjoyed movies that he's been in, his music, the things he did with like the Rat Pack and his friends. Such an icon, such a legend, a pioneer in the entertainment industry. And I thought we should come by and see where he almost lost his life and his life was changed. But thanks for watching. If you would, hit the thumbs up button. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode, the premiere episode of Walking with the Dead with OGP. It's Halloween season. Hopefully you're having a happy, a spooky Halloween season. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.